Hi, my name is Ann Gordon. I'm from East Greenwich, Rhode Island. I made the other video a while back. I've had 3 other divine and saintly apparitions. 2 of them last year before my sister died in September, St. Pio and St. Anthony. Both came to me and like they were standing over me, blessing me. My sister said to me, "Why aren't they blessing me?" And I said, "I don't know. I didn't know that just a few days later she'd have to go to the hospital." And then died. And then in April of this year, 2020, I saw St. Anne. I've been praying to her since I was a child. She was standing over me also, blessing me. I guess they all knew what terrible, terrible, terrible times I'd be going through. And I know everyone else is, and I've been praying for everyone. There's a pandemic, and everyone needs to pray. Jesus is God. And that's the whole point of all the apparitions. Mary always called it the story of Jesus. Because Jesus is God, and the Holy Spirit is God. I saw him with Jesus behind his head in the first apparition I had. But we've also had many miraculous and mystical experiences. Mary and I have. Even when I was a child, when I was about 6 years old, I fell off my bicycle over the handlebars and through the air, and I had a concussion, a fractured skull. And after that, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd see like 2 tall men standing at the bottom of the bed, red glowy figures. And I'd wake up Mary. We shared a room back then. She'd say, "There's nothing there. There's nobody there." And I'd go back to sleep. I couldn't see them standing there. And then I'd wait till they disappeared and I'd go in and tell my mother and my dad. Well, I was waking them up all the time. She finally told the doctor. He yelled at her, and then he said it was, because of the head problem. And so I didn't mention it anymore, but I told my grandmother back then, my dad's mother, and she said, "What do you see, child?" And I said, "It looks like 2 tall glowy figures of 2 tall men." And then she said, "Do you say your prayers every night?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "You're very special to God." And that was it. And then 4 years later, when my grandmother died, my other grandmother, they both left with us, my mom's mother died, I was just brokenhearted. And she said to me, "Even if you don't see her," she said, "say goodnight to her every night and pray to her and talk to her every night before you go to bed." And I didn't even know what she meant by even if you don't see her. But we found out after we started telling my cousins in 2012 about my apparition that my grandmother, my dad's mother, had apparitions here in our home. We've lived here since 1957, and the cousin said that she saw St. Teresa, and she saw dead people going through the walls. But she had never told us. I don't know, she didn't want my mom and dad to think that the house was haunted or whatever. But that was similar to what I've seen with my apparitions, the 10 saintly apparitions. And like I told in the other video, I've seen hundreds of dead people, usually on the night they die. And then when after Mary had her back surgery in 1977, she used to come and wake me up. She couldn't sleep, and she'd stay in the living room. And she'd wake me up in the middle of the night. And I said, "No, I got to go to high school. I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get going." And one night, I felt like she was shaking me, like somebody was grabbing a hold of my arm, shaking me awake. And I said, "Mary, I just told you I can't get up." And then she didn't answer me. The room was all dark. I had this shag rug. You had to drag the door across the rug in order to open the door. So then I thought, oh, must have been dreaming or something. I laid there, shake me again. And then I said, "Mary, this isn't funny." I turned the light on. Nobody there. Then I laid back down. I thought, well, maybe I've got a twitch or something. Then somebody took both arms and shook me. And I jumped out of the bed, ran to the door, dragged open the door. The whole hallway was filled with smoke. Big, thick smoke. I went in. My mom and dad, they had their door shut. I opened their door, put the light on, and yelled, "Something's burning, something's burning." We go down the stairs. Mary's fast asleep on the sofa. She left one of those Whistler coffee pots on. She'd make tea in the middle of the night. She left it on the stove, but it would run out of water. She took the cap off so the Whistler thing wouldn't wake up the rest of us. And the flames are going up the side of the stove, up towards the attic vent for the stove vent. And the flames and the smoke. Somehow I grabbed a hold of the thing. I swung it in the sink and it like burst into flames. And then Mary woke up. I'm screaming. We had to open every window in the house. And my dad said it would have been like 5 minutes the flames would have gone up through the house, into the whole house. We have a split-level house, and he said the whole house would have been consumed with fire. How did you ever wake up? And I said, something actually shook me awake. And I think that was an angel. The mom and dad had the house built. They had it blessed. And they had medals put in the four corners of the house. And they had the house blessed. And also we've had the enthronement to the Sacred Heart of Jesus here. And there's something in that that says, promises of the Sacred Heart that you'd never have a fire in your household. And through the enthronement of the Sacred Heart, that was for Mary. Mary was so blessed and devoted to the Sacred Heart. And such a blessed holy soul. And I've seen her 6 times since she died last September. She keeps coming to me in the night. And with my mom the last time, and with my dad right after her. So the dead people are not gone. They know what's going on in your life. They're near you. They care about you. They're not just dead and buried and waiting for the end of time. Like I usually see the dead people on the night they die. But they're always trying to help with things that are going on in your life. And pray to them and ask them for help. And the saints and angels are your friends. They truly are your friends. They feel we had mystical experiences. He came, Mary didn't actually see the dead people or see things, although she did see an image of Pope St. John Paul, a bust of him, like you see pictures, in the cathedral in Providence where we went to Mass in 1997. And she saw it, and she pointed out to me, and I saw it, and it was there several times. Not every time we were at Mass, but several times. And I asked my mom and dad, did you see that? No, they couldn't see it. And I kept pointing it out on the wall. No, they just didn't see it. Mary and I saw it. Well, when Mary was ill, there was the image again that came in her room of the bust of Pope St. John Paul. And it was him. You could see it was him. And she saw that. And I said, that's the reason mom and dad didn't see it. It was meant for you to see it when she was so ill. And then I saw it again, and on one of the dresses of Mary, along with St. Pio. The image of St. Pio, as well as Pope St. John Paul, and an image of the Blessed Mother. And in 1980, my dad was very ill. He nearly died. He would have died without the help of the Blessed Mother. And they had sent him home from the hospital one night, and his temperature went off the thermometer. And they told us to give him sleeping pills and morphine and codeine. But I knew better than to do that. I took him in the bathroom to give him like alcohol rub. On the way, he said, there's something on the wall in your room. And I looked in the wall in the room, and we all went in the room, Mary and Mom and I and Dad, and it was like a white image of the Blessed Mother in light. And we went over, and I moved all the draperies to see if it would go away. It didn't. There was no other light in the room. And it just stayed there on the wall. Then Dad was really saved and healed on December 12th. Our Lady of Guadalupe Day. We had actually formed a pro-life organization here in Rhode Island, several of them. And he was on the board and the publicity director for Catholics for Life for like 28 years trying to save the baby. And when I saw my dad, like I said in another video, he wasn't fetal. He's a saint. He's a saint. For all the work and all the years he put in trying to save the baby. It's imperative to stop abortion. In America and everywhere else. It's absolutely barbaric. I've been saying a prayer for the baby since the 70s. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I love you very much, and I beg you to spare the lives of the unborn babies that I spiritually adopted are in danger of abortion. I always wanted to have at least 6 children. My grandmother had 7. Good reason. My other grandmother, I think she had about 9. But I always wanted to have at least 6 children. So I did 6 of them every night. And one day my mother said to me, well, your 6 babies are in heaven. So in September 16th and 2013, I said in my prayers that night, I wonder, God, are the babies in heaven or did I save them? And I woke up in the night, and in the doorway, there comes the babies, one at a time, legs strategically crossed so I couldn't tell if they were boys or girls, so one at a time with their arms out towards me, and 6 of them. So pray to stop abortion. Please, and tell people it's wrong and it's something they're going to regret the rest of their life. Telling of the most precious, innocent gifts from God. Gifts from God. Babies and children are the most precious, like Jesus said that the children come to me. They're the most precious. They're actually, the salvation of the world is in the hearts and souls of the little children. innocent, blessed little children. And the other mystical experience is Mary and I. We had a taxi driver that we didn't really know him, but he was the only one that was nice to us and would take us to the store. And he's been taking us like we went every 6 weeks or so to the grocery. And then he said to us, I won't be able to be taking anymore. I'm going to have an operation. I'll be gone for 6 months. I'll be in a nursing home. He's having his knee operated on while Mary, but their back was much worse after the surgery. So she said to him, don't have the surgery. And she kept trying to talk him out of it. And then when he got out of the car, I thought, well, he kept saying about a haunted house in the neighborhood. And we told the neighbors years before that about the apparitions. And I thought maybe that's what he'd heard. So I went in my purse to get the money for him, and there was a relic and a picture card of St. Anthony. And it's like, well, give him that, tell him the story. So I always have like these little voices that tell you things, and they are telling you things. There's no coincidences, and like, get your little guardian angel helping you. So I went out in the back of the cab, and I handed him the money, and I said, I need to tell you something. And Mary's standing there. I hadn't told her in advance I was going to tell him. So I told him this about the apparitions, and I said to him, that one, I didn't ask what religion he was or anything else. I said, that's a picture card to St. Anthony. I said, he died in 1231, and I've prayed to him since I was a child, and he's one of the ones I saw. So he just looked at me. He didn't say a word. I said, what date is your operation, and we'll pray for you. So he told me what the date was, and he just walked away, got in the cab, and drove off. And he said he didn't say anything at all. I said, well, it's kind of shocking for most people. So then the next time we went to go grocery, I called them up, and they were always, well, we'll come, the next day or in a couple of hours. They said, well, he'll be there in about 15 minutes. So I said to Mary, go downstairs and wait. I wasn't even ready. So she waited in the doorway. She said, I think that's Don. I said, oh, she said, maybe he didn't have the operation. Hurry up. She said, out we go. We got in the cab, and he shut the cab off. And he said, and Mary said, didn't you have the operation? He said, yes, I did, but just a minute, he said. He said, when you told me that story, and you gave me that card, he said, I came back to God. He said, I hadn't said a prayer in 40 years. That's wonderful. And I said, you still say it? And he said, it's right here. I say it every day. So then I said, what about the operation? And he said, I said, was it not as bad as they thought it would be? He said, no, it was worse, the doctor said. He said, they just gave me local anesthesia in my leg. And he said, and during the surgery, he said, I looked over, and there were the two of you standing next to me. And he said, what did we look like? He said, you look just like yourself. So then Mary said, that was probably the drugs. He said, yeah, that's what I thought. He said, then they sent me to the recovery room. And he said, I saw him again. Mary said, both of us? And he said, yes, both of you. And then she said, that's probably still the drugs. He said, yeah, that's what I thought. He said, then they sent me to the nursing home, but I was only there a couple of weeks. And he said, and I saw you again, both of you, standing next to me. And Mary said, well, Ian does have us praying for you all the time. And I don't know if that's by location, but he said, I know how holy you both are. And it's really, like I said in another video, it's about the holiness of our family. I don't consider it me. I know my dad's a saint. I know Mary is blessed in her holy life. And I know from all her suffering, she was 43 years disabled with a back injury. She never complained. Never complained. And people, they see people and they think, oh, you are not disabled. That's the most terrible thing to say to somebody. And you never know what pain and suffering other people have. And but most of all, it's about faith. It's about faith in God and spreading the faith and telling other people and saying your prayers every day. Please pray every day. Mary said, I prayed more than cloistered nuns, but I figured, well, God came to me, I need to be praying for people. And another thing that I saw one time was around the picture of Jesus that I have in my room. It's a picture of the Sacred Heart. Around the picture one night I woke up and there were hundreds of arms reaching out towards me of all different colors. And I kind of pulled back in the bed. Like I said to the priest, that was the only thing that ever it didn't frighten me, but it sort of startled me. But I believe that was the souls in purgatory. I've prayed for the souls in purgatory for years. We say special prayer novena all during the month of November every night, remembering all of our family and friends and everyone that we've known. But also, I say prayers every night for the souls in purgatory. And I also pray every night for anyone else who needs it. And for people that you hear in the news, that's probably why I saw Carrie Anthony and the other people. I do pray for people that are in the news with stories that someone's missing something. And there's been so many people that I don't know who they are. But I have, God's given me such a blessing. And I need to share this with people. And I need also that our holy home, and like I said, the bishop had asked me, I think I said that in the video, if God wanted a shrine here. And I asked God that night, and I saw the whole ceiling lit up. It was like a deep blue, like the sky, and it lit up like 1,000, like pinpoints of light. But also in 2018, I said to Mary, why would people think that we would have the shrine here? Because we thought, well, it should be somewhere else. Like I'd even written to the Pope that it could be somewhere else. We live in a little neighborhood. Then I looked out the back window, and Mary was upstairs. And instantaneously, well, we had planned to have like a pool. The doctor said a swimming pool with warm water would help Mary. We were going to have that in the 80s. And then it had to be so far away from the house we couldn't have that. But I was like transported to the front row. And I was like standing there. And there was still the kitchen sink, but I was transported to the front of the house, and I could see two panels, like on either side of the house. Big blue panels, deep blue, with three huge white angels, like in long white dresses, facing inward on either side, three on either side. And then the roof was black, and it sort of came to a point, not like it is now. And then instantaneously, I was transported back to the sink in the kitchen, and I said, oh, you just won't believe what I just saw. And we went up the stairs and told her. And I said, I just saw what it's supposed to look like, what the shrine's supposed to look like. I need so much to get this in action for people, just somewhere to come to, because I don't know how much longer I have. So please, God, help me to be able to do that. And to tell, as Mary called it, the story of Jesus. And to help people to come closer to God, and to know that God does love you so. God loves all of us. I know with this pandemic it's been a terrible time, and so many people have lost loved ones all over the world. And don't think that they're just dead and buried somewhere. They're in heaven with God, or pray that they are in heaven. Pray for them every single day. Pray for your family. Pray for your friends. Pray for the people that have died. And please pray every day. And it should be say a prayer I said to the child, the reunion of all Christians. It's the morning offering prayer. And there really needs to be a reunion of all Christians. I know from all the travels, we traveled across the United States, the 40 of the 48 lowest contiguous United States. And we visited so many shrines all across the country. And the people, the holiness of the people all over the country. I know how wonderful people are here in the United States of America. I know like my grandmothers came here. My grandmother won. Dad's mother came when she was 21. And then she worked. She worked as a servant, as a housekeeper, as a maid, until she could bring over her brothers and sisters one at a time. And my other grandmother came at 14. I think she was like an indentured servant when she came. My grandfather came from England. And the other one, his parents came from Ireland. So they came to this country, one nation under God. One nation under God. One nation under God. That's what it's meant to be. That's for all of our ancestors. With liberty and justice for everyone. And the love of God in everyone's heart for everyone else. If you love God, then you love everyone else. No matter what they do to you. No matter how they hurt you or anything else. Love them. For God's sake, and forgive them, truly for Jesus' sake. And the Divine Mercy prayers at 3 o'clock. Say the Divine Mercy prayers, like I said, my mom shines with a special brightness in heaven like Jesus promised. For her, pray these prayers every day. And pray unceasingly, all day long, no matter what you're doing. And during this pandemic, pray. Well, that's the other thing for Mary. The night she was first ill, on her bureau, we got in about 1990, from donations she sent, we got a little statue of the Infant of Prague. Well, we didn't usually pray to the Infant of Prague, but they sent us the statue, so we set it up in the living room. Then in 1992, we got a Fatima statue we bought for Mom, of Our Lady of Fatima for Mother's Day. And I said after that the little mother statue looked so happy. Well, the night that Mary was there, on her bureau, I looked over, and there was an infinite pause prayer. And I said, where did you get this? She said, I don't know. I said, did you put it there? She said, I don't think so. It was from 1947. And it was infinite pause prayer. And it would say it for 9 hours to the omnipotent God. So we said that 9 hours every day. We almost wore off the prayer cards. And it's a beautiful prayer, and especially during the Christmas season. And I'll try to put prayers on somehow on the internet. If you want copies of the prayers, and if you want, I'll pray for you. Same prayer request. I'm not very good at the videos and the rest of it, but I will try. Put a Facebook page and other things out there, or Twitter or something, so you can contact me. And I will pray for you and for your family. But please, have devotion also to the infinite God. It's a beautiful prayer, centuries old, back from Czechoslovakia. And like I said, it's that Jesus is the King. He is King of the universe. He is God. Jesus is God. Holy Spirit is God. And God the Father, God. The blessed Holy Trinity. And the Blessed Mother is the Mother of God. Have devotion to the Blessed Mother and say the rosary. Say the rosary every day. The simple prayers, the wonderful prayer, and say 4 of them every day. Please. And please, pray for me too. Pray for me.